Welcome to the Sharpe Way show. It is a little after 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and sorry I was a bit late. And not just that, I was supposed to come on at 6. Some stuff happened. Don't be mad at me. Stuff happens sometimes. It happened, and I had to delay the show. I apologize. It was some personal stuff that popped up, but I think it's quelled. I'll find out the hard way if it is or isn't, but I think it's quelled. I think we're okay moving forward. And as always, as you hear me bug you, I will keep bugging you. Please like, comment, and share. It does matter. It is important. It's how I get around all the shadow banning that I always get. And of course, if you can, please support my sponsors. It's free. Liking, commenting, sharing, free. Linking, going to the link right there, libertarianism.com. Click that link in the description right there. Head on over there and take a class or two. Get some cool merch. Do something nice and interesting. Do that. It's important. It's free. It makes us all happy because they support the show. We can keep going. So it's free. Please do that. It does help tremendously. I didn't have a show last night, so I wanted to have one tonight. A lot of stuff was going on, and I kind of wanted to cover my view on a couple of things that I thought people were talking about. And some of you may care, some of you may not, but I think some of you may care about this. I wanted to bring up, believe it or not, Joe Rogan. Some of you know I was on Joe Rogan last campaign 4 years ago, and people are attacking him like there is no tomorrow. I mean, heavy attacking, like there's like he's the evilest thing in the world. And I get it. I do. And what I mean by getting it is he's the powerful monster and you want to kill the monster, right? I get it, right? You want to kill the monster and get him down and knock him down. I get it. He's also the upstart that is taking down the establishment, right? Also true. So I get why it's happening. But it goes back to something that I've talked about in the past many times. This is the wrong way of doing it, right? This is the absolute wrong way of doing it because most of the attacks, the vast majority of the attacks against Joe Rogan are coming from the left. Vast majority. There's a couple on the right, but very few from the right. The vast majority coming from the left. 99% are coming out of the left. So if you're attacking Joe Rogan, what's going to happen? He's going to go to the right. Is Joe Rogan some kind of conservative? I think if you watch his show, you know he's not. He's generally speaking pretty much middle of the road in general, leaning left. I mean, as a general rule, there are some exceptions, obviously, but he's generally speaking up pretty middle of the road, listens to almost everybody, and leans left. Why would you, if you're on the left, if you're a Democrat or a liberal or progressive, and you're listening or watching, and you want your view to grow, why would you attack the guy who might grow your view? This makes no sense to me. Clearly, I'm not a Democrat. But if I was, I'd be his best friend. I'd be like, put me on to defend Fauci and to beat up the other guys, right? I mean, you would think that you want to go on and defend Fauci and beat up the guys because you believe in that stuff and you think he's right and such. Great, go in and defend Biden and say how Biden's right about it all and whatever. Wouldn't you want to do that? Maybe I'm nuts. But what they're doing now is hurting themselves in a desperate attempt to control. And this goes to what I talk about all the time, the two-party system. When you have a two-party system where everything is left and right, where everything is good or evil, the only thing you know how to do is not have a conversation. It's to not talk to people, but it's to insult people and say, are you with us or against us? And that's it. Nothing else. Are you with us or against us? And with that in mind, what are they doing? They're telling Joe Rogan, get with the program or you're against us. That's what they're doing. Now you might go, well, Larry, is it that bad? I mean, Spotify has agreed to do X and Y and blah, blah, blah. That is a problem. And some of you are going to think that I am crazy to say this. Spotify should have given into nothing, not one single thing, nothing. Why? The second Spotify gives into the mob. Now, if it's not the mob, that's different. But it seems like it feels they're giving into the mob. You should always give in to your customers. Any business should, right? Customers, yes. People yelling outside who don't even know who Joe Rogan is, I don't care, or always going to diss him, I don't care about Spotify. Why do you care about what they think? You should immediately tell them to go take a hike, jump off a bridge. Who cares? If your customers tell you to change, please change. If they aren't changing, one bit you give, if Spotify gives a little bit, they're going to keep pushing. And they already are. You hear them say, it's nice, but it's not good enough. It's a little bit. It's a step in the right direction. And they want more. The answer has to be no, go to hell. Nothing, go to hell. In fact, you know what? We're going to give Joe Rogan a bigger spotlight. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give him a bigger spotlight. We're gonna change Spotify to Spotify/Rogan. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call it the Joe Rogan Company. From now, we're changing it from Spotify to Roganify. I mean, you got to go that far. If you don't go that far, they keep pushing. They keep pushing. Because here's what winds up happening. Eventually, they see some success. So what happens? When they see some success, now the rest of them jump on board, which is exactly what happened. All the other people go, well, oh, wow, it's working. Now I'm scared. So now they do it. And I told you this, was it last week or the week before? I said my worry wasn't Joe Rogan. It wasn't Spotify. It wasn't that. My worry was everyone gets behind. I'm sorry. My worry wasn't Neil Young. My worry was everyone else gets behind him and a big group gets behind him. And now they're going to change. So now what we're going to have? We're going to have a left and a right Spotify. Soon we're going to have a Democrat-Republican Facebook, a Democrat-Republican YouTube. Now we're going to have a Democrat-Republican Spotify. Everything is going to be left and right. Even talk shows that talk about like MMA stuff are now going to be left and right. Is MMA going to become Republican now? Democrats can't watch MMA anymore? Is that going to happen? We're segregating our life like there's no tomorrow. Like this, and sadly, if we keep segregating, there will not be a tomorrow. It will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. What's going to happen if Spotify keeps giving in is Joe Rogan will leave, he will do his own thing, and the right will embrace him because the left pushed him away. Not because he's the lefty. He's more left than right. And he's going to go to the right. This happens with many people. You see it constantly. You're not one of us, get out. That initially happened with Trump. If you remember when Trump was first running, it's changed since then. But if you remember when Trump was first running, it was you support Trump or get out. Remember that? That's how Trump was at first. Well, that changed. He learned his lesson. Whoa, we can't throw everybody out. Hold on. We can't do that anymore. That group of people learned a lesson. Right? You can see it. But the left hasn't learned that lesson yet. You would think they would, but they're not. If they get their butt kicked in November 2022, they might. I don't know if they will, but they might. They might go, wait a minute. So alienating everybody didn't work to win an election. What? They might figure that out. Maybe. And you might have a better Democratic Party in 2023. And maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out. But my point is, they think they're beating up Rogan. They're actually not. They're hurting the country. And they're hurting themselves. The last part about this is they're hurting themselves. It's not like CNN or MSNBC are growing. And the second that Dish and Comcast and Spectrum and all those companies eventually go, you know what, we're going to do a la carte. We're not going to assume that everybody wants CNN or MSNBC or Fox. The second that happens, they are in trouble. That's why so many of them are going off to online subscription services already. They're all trying to do that, which makes sense. That's smart. But they're learning a very important lesson. Most people, with a couple of exceptions, on MSNBC, it's Rachel Maddow, and on Fox News, it's Tucker Carlson. With the exception of those two, those are the big boys. Pull those out. With the exception of those, people aren't watching those shows because of the actual, people there. They watch CNN because CNN puts some guy there. They're not going, oh my God, I can't wait to watch whatever the guy's name is on MSNBC or CNN or even Fox. Exception, people, the left does love, without question, they absolutely love Rachel Maddow, and the right does love Tucker Carlson. They will actually watch for them. which is why Tucker Carlson has his own thing and why Rachel Maddow has her own thing, because the left and the right do like listening to those people. The rest, whatever. If they go away, they go away. No one's going to care. And that's a problem. They have to make a change. This attack on Joe Rogan and Spotify is a mistake for them and a mistake for us as a country. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. I'm not joking. Leave him alone. So I wanted to bring that up. I just thought it was interesting. And I'm going to grab your comments in a second, but I want to go one more thing, if I could. In fact, you know what? Let me grab your comments on this one first, and then I'll go to, I have another thing I'm going to talk about. I got a couple of things I'm going to bring out today, but let me go back to this one if I could. All right. Let's see here. Craig says, except he's not the monster, and anyone who actually listens to him would know that. So many NPCs saying UFC man bad. This is exactly my point, Craig, and why I think that Spotify should not have made a change, because it wasn't actually the customers saying anything, right? If Joe Rogan's listeners and customers actually say, Joe, stop doing what you're doing, Joe as a business should respond, right? If his customers are telling him, the people who listen to him, who like him, if they're saying, we don't like this thing, he should change. That's his customers. But those people weren't saying that. You're right, Craig. They weren't saying that. It was people who don't watch his show who were saying it, in which case, why do I care? I don't care. You don't watch my show. You don't care about what I do. Why do I care what you think? Go away. I don't need you. And that's what Spotify did poorly. They should have realized Joe Rogan is still going to get 11 million views. And if those 11 million people, like 4 were unhappy, you get over it. If a couple million of his viewers are unhappy, make a change, as any business should. You're totally correct. Absolutely right. Yes. So anyway, Jonathan says, good evening from behind enemy lines here in Westchester. Yeah, I'm with you in Queens. Absolutely. 100%. So, all right. Let's see here. Ken says, Larry, what do you think of politicians hobnobbing with celebrities at sporting events without masks while pushing mandates on the masses? Thank you. It's kind of an obvious answer, but maybe you guys want to hear it. I'm happy to say it. Am I surprised that politicians hobnob with celebrities? Not at all. And they probably should, because many of the politicians are semi-celebrities themselves. AOC is clearly a celebrity, right? Even though she's a politician. So I'm not upset about that idea of them hanging out with, and they should, because they want to get the money and be popular. It makes sense. I hope I'm some politician where celebrities want to hang out with me one day. That'd be awesome. I don't have a problem with that at all. Now, the mask part. Clearly, it is hypocritical. Clearly, it is. Clearly, it's embarrassing. But there are 2 things that pop up here. 1, do they actually believe what they say? And my answer is always the same. No. Remember something. The top people in almost any cult don't believe in the cult. I'm not joking. The top people in almost any ideology don't believe the ideology. They use the ideology, or whatever the idea is, to gain power. And the best example of that in our most recent time here in New York was Cuomo. I said it all the time. You heard me say it. Cuomo wasn't really a Democrat. I mean, he was officially a Democrat, but in reality, he was a Cuomoist. He would have been whatever it took to stay in power. He'd have been a libertarian, he'd have been a Republican, a communist, an anarchist. Whatever it would have taken for him to be in power is what he was going to be. That's one of the reasons why so many of the true believer Democrats didn't like him, because they knew he wasn't a real Democrat. He was, whatever keeps me in power, that's what I am. And I will say the words that you want me to say so that I can stay in power. That's all Cuomo cared about. Sadly, most of these heavy hitters are like that, right? Most of these politicians would change parties tomorrow. They thought it would work. They just want to be in power. They want to hobnob with celebrities. I do too. I'd love to hang out with celebrities. It'd be nice to hang out with celebrities. Hey, celebrities, how you doing? Love that. Awesome. But clearly, I'm not as bad as them, as bad as I may be, because I'm not selling out running as Democrat. As if I want to be in charge, I should run as Democrat in New York City, right? In New York. I'm not, because I won't go that far, Ken. Now, the next part is they don't believe it, number 1. But number 2, they don't even care that it's hypocritical. Why? Because there's no punishment. There's no punishment. Newsom still wins if he wants to, again. Nancy Pelosi still wins. She was caught the same way, right? Not getting her hair done or whatever she was without a mask on. It doesn't matter. She still wins. There's no punishment. With gerrymandering and a two-party system, there's no punishment. It doesn't matter. He can literally pull his mask up and say, all of you peasants, put your mask on. I am king of California. I will not wear my mask. He still wins. So that is my response. Of course, it's hypocritical, but since there are no repercussions, who cares? None of them care. The funniest part about this is people think, and I hear this all the time, that we have to go against big business because big business CEOs hate us. We need politicians who support us to help us against these evil CEOs. That's totally not true. The reality of it is most CEOs of most large companies don't care. There's a difference. It's not maliciousness, it's negligence. There's a difference. The CEOs aren't trying to hurt us. They don't care. They just want to make money. If that hurts us, okay. If it doesn't, okay. If it will save the world, okay. Just, I need my money. That's all they care about. Politicians actually don't like us. Most of them actually hate us. That's why when you ever hear them off screen or off camera, they're always horrible against us because they actually hate us. The politicians actually don't like us. The businesses don't care. So if we could set up an environment where businesses were making money while not hurting people, they would do it. They don't want to hurt people. They don't care. This is my whole idea of changing the military-industrial complex. The military-industrial complex right now makes its money bombing people and killing people. Do the people who run those companies want to kill people? No, they want to make money. If that means people die, all right, whatever. They don't care. That's not a good thing. I'm just saying it's a difference in understanding who you're dealing with. So if the people in business don't care, then give them a way of making money without hurting people, and they'll do it. These people who are politicians actually don't like us. They think we're beneath them. They think we're in the way. They think we're stupid. You know this is true. And that's how they act. So I'm not surprised by it. Clearly it's hypocritical. So I hope did I go too far, Ken? Sorry if I did. Rebecca says, the left is mad at Rogan, the right at Whoopi. All distraction. Let me touch that one. I'm going to bring the Whoopi thing up. Tom brings up, seems after the Whoopi misspeak, things toning down with Rogan. Let me touch Whoopi. And I may say something that's kind of unpopular. But some of you may remember this. If any of you watch Chris Rock, the comedian, years ago he had a special. He was talking about race. He often speaks about race in his specials. And in this one thing, he was talking about, Italians or Irish or Jews or whatever. And he was like, black people don't care about that. We don't hate Jews or hate Italians or hate some of them. We just hate white people, right? And joke, But that was based on something true. What I mean by that, do white people hate white people? No. But for those of you who are black or black people in your family or close friends, if you've ever been in a room where nobody is white and you're talking about white people they don't go Italians, they say white people. That's how black people talk about white people. I don't mean to be mean. That's not what I'm trying to do or be racist. I'm telling you a reality. If you've ever been in a room with black friends or black family or both, or you're black yourself, whatever, if you've been in a room, they're not going, these Italians. They're not saying these Germans. They're not saying that. They're going white people this, white people that. The stereotypes that we have about white people go to all white people. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. So when Whoopi was saying that, she was talking about her own culture. She's an older black woman. I'm just being forward, guys. She kind of sees white people as white people. That's how she sees it. That wasn't meant to attack Jews. That wasn't the goal. Now, if you're Jewish, could you take that negatively? Yes. And I get that if you're Jewish, you can take that negatively. I totally get that. I'm trying to divvy up the intent from the impact. If you are Jewish, could you have felt negatively about that? Of course you could have. Your family's been through the Holocaust. Well, not every Jewish family, obviously, but lots of Jewish families have Holocaust survivors or Holocaust deaths or people in their family. I mean, 6 million Jews killed. Lots of Jews have that in their family. Of course, you could take that negatively. I'm asking you, what do you think her intent was? I don't think her intent was to insult Jewish people at all. I think she was, the left talks about lived experience all the time. This is her lived experience. To be full with you, mine too. I was not taken aback by what she said at all. And I'm sorry if you're Jewish and it makes you upset for me to say that. I'm not trying to hurt you either. I'm just being forward in how many people of color think. And maybe we should change our thought process. I'm okay with that conversation. And as much as I am, this is going to sound bad too. I guess I'm coming clean on a lot of stuff here. It's petty for me to be happy that Whoopi got punished. And part of me is happy she got punished because she's a bad person. She says bad stuff. She says stupid stuff. She's misinformation like there's no tomorrow. She's made far more harm than good on her show. That's absolutely true. With that in mind, and the part of me that is petty and happy that she got punished, at the same time, this was the wrong reason. She said far worse stuff that she's been punished for. This is nothing. This one is wrong. Like, she shouldn't be punished for this. Does she deserve to be punished because she's in exactly the same cancel culture stuff? Yes, she deserves it. And I'm not a Whoopi fan. I'm just saying this is helping to make things bad. They suspended her. And what was the words? Something like, you were suspending Whoopi so she can, think about what she said and stuff. What, she 5 years old? You know better? The people at ABC, they know better. And they're the ones going to say, Whoopi, I know you're a whatever, 60 or 70-year-old, how old she is, old black woman who's lived the American experience as a black woman. Let me tell you, you need to go back and think about what oppression is. I can't believe that people aren't attacking ABC for that. I don't mean to be mean. As much as I don't like Whoopi Goldberg, and I don't like her, she still has a lived experience as being a poor black woman on welfare and came to where she is now. I got to give respect for the journey, regardless of her political views that I disagree with. I still have to give her props for her journey, being a black woman and being a star of movies and TV shows as a black woman in the 70s and 80s. And she's not light-skinned, she's not a model, and she was still able to carry movies on her own. Respect for your journey. Absolutely. And the disrespect that she got from ABC, not warranted. Not warranted. Even though there's a part of me happy she got hammered, because she would have hammered anybody else. And that's the part that the petty part of me that's okay with it, because she would have done exactly the same as anybody else. Imagine if one of the white women on that stage would have made like slavery wasn't that bad or something like that. She'd have been like, fire her, get her out of here, kill her. She would have been absolutely, what they're doing to her, she'd have done to that person. Guaranteed she would have. So I'm a little torn on the pettiness in me, but it is a bad precedent. It was bad when it's done to others, and it's bad when it's done to her. And they're not respecting her journey at all. She should get props for what she's done. That's true. And to think she doesn't understand what, whatever prejudice and racism is, she doesn't understand that. I'm just saying. You tell me she hasn't felt that being a black woman, 60, 70, however old she is now, and coming up through that? Come on. Just saying. And coming up through show business on top of it. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong on this one, but that's how I feel. I wanted you guys to know what I was thinking about that. And also, I wanted you to take a difference between, again, as I always talk about, intent and impact. They are two separate things, right? You might go, Larry, does it really matter? It does. I mean, there's a difference between murder and manslaughter, right? There's a difference. Murder 1, 2, and 3. There's a difference, right? What was your intent versus what was your impact? Were you trying to kill somebody? Was your intent to kill somebody? Was it a mistake? There's a difference between maliciousness and negligence. Both are bad, but there is a difference. Impacting someone negatively is bad. but it's worse if it was your intent. It's not as bad if it was not your intent. Human nature has discussed this since we've had laws and rules. We've always had that. What do people always say when you do something wrong? What were you thinking? They care. What was your intent? Why did you do it? Matters to us. It does. If I, screw you over, was I trying to screw you over? Or did I just mess up? It matters. Either way, you messed up, and I should try to help you because I screwed you over somehow. But intent matters. I went long on this, I apologize. But the whoopee thing also, it bothered me because I could see so many Black people saying exactly the same thing. So many. And I've been in rooms where people have said exactly that. Like word for word what she said. Yes, word for word. White on white crime. I've heard that stuff more than once. Lots of people say it. She just said it out loud and they punished her for it. Again, if you're saying maybe, she's wrong or you got upset by that if you're Jewish, okay, then that should be a conversation, not that's it. Go to your room for 2 weeks and think about what you've done. If I'm Whoopi, I'm not coming back. Or maybe I'll come back for a live show and I'm scolding everybody and then walking off the stage. I'm not coming back. Anyway, that's just me. She'll do what she wants to do for all those things. So let me keep going a couple more. Jennifer says, Rogan's cashing in now. Oh, yes. More people are watching. And thank you, Jennifer, for that. In a left-right paradigm, all we know is attack. That's all we know. Left-right paradigm. Call the other guy evil. I'll save you from the evilness. That's all we know. But when you're not part of left-right paradigm, the worst thing you can do to somebody is ignore them. When you shine a light on them, even negatively, they grow. Because people are listening to Joe Rogan now, who are like, that guy's a racist, or whatever they decided that he was. Listen to a show, and it's like, oh, this is about like health food. God doesn't seem evil to me. What's this one about? Oh, this one's about, whatever. Training to be a MMA fighter. Oh, doesn't seem racist to me. All those things. But I think that's the issue. He's cashing in right now. And he is going to be financially fine forever. Will he be emotionally or mentally fine? I don't know. Maybe not. Will he all of a sudden become... Remember something. The most zealous are the converted. If he becomes converted to the right, he might be hard right. And if he's hard right and he has 11 million viewers, he's going to make a whole lot. I'm going to say something that's going to sound crazy again. This maybe is my night. Maybe I had a bad day today and I'm going to punish everybody. The left's actions are creating the right even stronger. And because people who are converted are the most zealous, the left's actions are literally going to wind up creating Nazis. I said it. They're going to wind up creating Nazis because they're going to make people who are left feel alienated. They're going to turn, and some of them are going to turn hard. And when they turn hard, they're going Nazi. So whatever percentage that leaves the left, you're going to find them becoming Nazis. A chunk, whatever that chunk is. And I don't care if that chunk is 1% or 30%. I'd like it to be 0%. I would like 0% to become Nazis. I would like 0 Nazis is what I would like. Now, obviously, I'm asking too much for that. But then how about we have as few Nazis as possible? How about that? Let's limit our Nazis to the best of our ability. As few as possible would be nice. This is not helping. Isn't helping. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. Pete says, the problem I have with them saying misinformation is that many of the things we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are not accepted as fact. And the other thing is, if I say, well, Pete says misinformation, so let me censor him, does Pete now just stop talking? No, he goes someplace else. He goes wherever he can go, right? That's what he does. They've been shadow banning me for a year, 2 years now, almost 2 years now. So now what am I thinking about doing? Going every other place. I'm not just going to stop. I'm going to go every other place. I'll use different methods to make it happen. I'm literally having a phone call coming up later on. Did I do that? So yes, I'll be having, all those things to change over and do other things. They're not shutting me up. They're just making sure I go someplace else. So now we break things up. Here we go. Yes. John says, a small fringe minority, in quotes, of truckers are more essential than a drove of government paper pushers. John, you are absolutely correct. The thing that I love about the truckers more than anything, and look, I'm always happy when individuals get up and say no more. I actually liked, and some of you are happy when I say it, but I actually liked Occupy Wall Street. I did. It was people getting up and saying I'm done. That I liked. It became something that was garbage. But beginning of it was something that was special. It ended up doing nothing. But the concept of it, I love. I love the concept of individuals, getting up and going, no, we're not doing that. I love the truckers doing it. I love Occupy Wall Street initially. Hopefully the truckers will do something. At the moment, they're not doing anything. I hope it will end with something that has value. I don't know if it will. I hope it will. I hope they don't become Occupy Wall Street, which ended with nothing, except, I don't know, we'll send our CEO to sensitivity training. That's what I guess what it ended with, which didn't help anything else. We still have the same problems we had. Any case, but the truckers are critical. Why are they critical? Because it shows something. People that actually do things have power. And that's not what our country says. But it's true. We think essential workers are government workers. Those aren't essential. They aren't. Why aren't they? Because they're paid for by taxpayers. Right? Taxpayers pay government workers. Right? That's how it works. Great. I'm not mad if you're a government worker. As I said all the time, any job that pays your bills, awesome job. Please pay your bills. Well, that's required. Government work is just fine. Whatever. Just pay your bills. But government workers get paid by taxes. Well, someone outside of government has to work to pay the taxes for government workers. So by default, they're secondary. Essential is the people who create the taxes so you can pay the government workers. This is just common sense, but you don't hear that. Truckers move stuff. You might go, well, who cares moving stuff? Okay, someone's got to make the stuff they move. Someone's got to present the stuff that they move and then sell it and deliver it to whoever the place who's going to buy the stuff. That's 4 or 5 jobs because of what a trucker does. None of those being government jobs, meaning that people pay taxes because truckers move stuff. You might think, Larry, oh my God, it sounds crazy. That's not even Econ 101. That's like human nature 101. That's just how things work. So you are absolutely correct, John. That's what matters. People who do things. That matters. Whether you're the trucker or the guy or gal who unloads the truck or the guy or gal who orders the trucking or the guy or gal who's delivering the stuff or putting it on the shelf or whatever is the thing, or the person buying the goods to bring into their house. That's what's moving the taxes, is all those things. Yeah. Now, say you don't care about taxes. I don't care about taxes. Okay, great. You don't. How about when you can't get stuff? How about when you can't get stuff? Because truckers don't want to deliver stuff. Okay, they'll get other truckers. They might. It's possible. They might get other truckers. But because of all the bureaucracy, it's hard to get those truckers, isn't it? But say you get some. So instead of having whatever, I'm making numbers up, 100 truckers, you only got 50. Well, that price just went up. So that shaving cream or that toothpaste or that T-shirt you want to buy doesn't cost $2 anymore. Now it costs $4. Doesn't cost 10, it costs 20. So while you may not care about that, your pocketbook will, your wallet will, your bank account will, all the prices go up. So you are completely correct. People who do stuff in this country are looked upon as not being valuable. And the trucker, what I want to call it, event, the trucker protest, whatever you want to call it, is, I hope for many people, a wake-up call. If that happens in America, we saw what happened with the ship sitting outside in California because the longshoreman wouldn't work or whatever the case may be. Let that happen. Let the truckers not show up in America. Right? Think about that. Oh my God. Yes. So you are completely correct. And we should learn that lesson. People who do stuff matter. There is a problem. And this happened. It's been happening for a while, but it really exploded after 1999 when the Clinton administration put the final nail in a coffin of any real banking regulations. Banks don't have to be regulated very much. They don't have to be. It's true. You might say, oh, Larry, you're about no regulation. No. I'm not about no regulation. There should be no fraud, obviously, and things of that sort. Transparency, of course. That's important in any business, to include banking. Transparency and anti-fraud is important in any business, to include banking. But the most important piece was a cultural one. And that was with the end of the Glass-Steagall. Glass-Steagall Act actually separated two types of banks. You could either be a savings and loan or an investment bank. And I say, well, Larry, why should the government decide on those things? And as a libertarian, I should not care, deregulate. I shouldn't. However, culture matters. And culturally, for literally 100 years or more, 200 years, the average American saw a savings and loan as their natural local bank where they will put their bank account in, they get their mortgage from, maybe their life insurance, maybe depending on what kind of life insurance they bought, they get something like that, a loan for their car back in the day, they'd get that from their local bank. An investment bank was for people who wanted to gamble, mostly wealthy people, but sometimes not, who wanted to put their money and they wanted to gamble and put their money into it. Great. I don't have a problem with that. You got lots of money. You want to put it into the market, gamble with an investment bank. Awesome. Go buy a company, do your thing, all on you. But when they ended that, America didn't understand that. Still doesn't understand that. And now all of a sudden your mortgage is in the market. It wasn't before. Now all of your stuff is in the market. All of your stuff is now in a casino. Once everything's in a casino, people go, whoa, we can take all this money now and play in a casino? Everybody rush to it. That's why everybody wants to be in finance now, because you get everybody's money to play in a casino, which is what you do. It's what they do. And the house always wins. Why wouldn't I do that? Makes total sense. So the problem is finance should have a place in every economy. Finance matters. You want to be able to borrow money, put money away. Finance is a critical aspect of any economy. It is far too big in the American economy. It's too much of a chunk, far too big. And too much of our best and brightest are going into finance. Why? Finance doesn't make anything. They don't make anything. Again, they're important. You want to have a good finance sector in any economy. You want to be able to borrow money, invest, all those things. Those are important in an economy, of course. But when your finance industry is huge, a huge chunk of your industry doesn't do anything. And it makes the most money and doesn't do anything. It makes money by moving money around. That's not doing anything. I'm not against finance. Again, finance should exist. It's important. You want to be able to do these things. Of course you do. It's just too big. So now we think the finance people are the awesome people. When was it? Was it 10 years ago? I forgot when it was. It was several years ago when GE was having a great year. And they were like, oh, GE's awesome. The CEO's great. Jack Welch is awesome. GE was making more money in finance than building stuff. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that. They were making more money financing stuff than they were building stuff and making stuff. They made more money as a bank than they made making stuff. That kind of stuff shouldn't exist. And it does. Put that line in Glass-Steagall, regular banks, investment banks, everyone can do what they want. We're clear. People who do stuff matter more, and they should. And sadly, in our environment, they don't. So yes. All right. Shelly says, Spotify was trying to avoid cancel culture and it blew up in their face. Yep. Everyone who has ignored cancel culture is doing well. Spotify's a wimp. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Shelly. Absolutely. Yes. Austin says, I'd like to know if more Republicans and Democrats have come to support Larry. Sadly, more Republicans. Not that I'm against Republicans, but New York is a Democratic state. I need more Democrats. If you look at the most recent polling, what I'm added into the poll, I take 6 points away. Of the 6 points, 4 come from the Republican, 1 comes from Democrat, 1 comes from undecided. The data that we did in my campaign from 2018 showed that about 20 to 25% of the people who voted for me were registered Democrats. So I pull about 1 in 5, give or take, of my supporters as a Democrat. I need more. It's not enough. So I got to have more policies and show more to bring more Democrats to my side. So I do get Democrats. I do get Republicans. What I found is most of the people coming to me tend to be either angry Republicans in New York State, of course, makes sense, or people who wouldn't vote or were more independent minded. I really get a lot of independents. Independents are my strength in general. But also the next step is Republicans. So that answers your question. All right. Let's see here. Doug says, your viewpoint is different from mine. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So very good. Chelsea says, can't you just not listen if you don't agree? Yeah. Yes, that would be something. But remember something. This is an important part, Chelsea, that many people don't get. I've said it before, and I got to say it again to make sure it's clear. If you are 100% sure in your views, and you know you're right, and you know you're correct, first off, you're not scared of debate. You're happy to debate because you're right, and you can beat anyone in debate because you're right. In fact, you want to debate. I'm so right. Come on, Chelsea, let's debate. I'm show you how right I am. Right? I'm so right. I'm happy to do that. Not just that. I don't care if people say I'm wrong, because clearly they're wrong, because I'm right. When you're sure you're right, it doesn't really matter if people say you're wrong, because you know you're right. If you're sure you're right, you're happy to debate, because you're going to show everybody how wrong they are, because you're right. But when you're not sure, when you're unsure if you're right, you need social proof. You need others to get behind you. Yeah, Chelsea, you're so right. Oh, Chelsea, you're so right. Because you aren't sure. But when everyone around you is saying that you're right, okay, see, I'm right, because these people will say, of course I'm right. And then someone goes, you're wrong. You go, that guy can't say I'm wrong. Get him. And then everyone goes until he says, okay, you're right. And you go, oh, whew, good, I'm glad I'm right again. When you're not sure is when you require social proof. Don't get me wrong. Everybody loves social proof. Everyone loves when people tell them how right they are. Of course they do. It's human nature. I get it. But you don't require it unless you're not sure. When you think what you're doing might be bad, you need lots of social proof, right? Lots. That's what this is, Chelsea. They know they're wrong. They know what they're doing is immoral, is unethical. So, look, they're ruining people's lives. If your job is ruining people's lives, unless you're a sociopath, to sleep at night, you got to feel like you're doing the right thing, right? So if everyone's telling you, don't worry, Chelsea, you're doing the right thing. But what I said just got this guy fired. Yeah, but it's the right thing. Oh, okay, he deserves it then. Yeah, he deserves it because he's a Nazi or whatever bad word of the day I want to say. He's a insert bad word. That thing. Oh, okay, he deserved it, so it's okay. That's the issue. Yes. So anyway. All right, let me see if I can go on a couple more of these if I could. Bill Maher is talking crap about the crazy portions of the left. Agreed. Even Bill Maher is going down that road. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. Absolutely. Totally done. Yes. Dustin says CNN is launching CNN Plus thinking it's going to succeed. It is not. CNN Plus is going to be a disaster. Goes to my point. There are very few people on CNN that anybody wants to hear. Just very few. Any of those who they want to hear already have another outlet. The two people that I like on CNN, as you guys know, I bring them up here often, Fareed Zakaria and Michael Smerconish. Michael Smerconish already has a radio show. He does in Philadelphia, right? He does a show. He doesn't need CNN. He likes CNN. He likes having it. Of course he does. But he's got his own show, and he writes books. Fareed Zakaria writes books. They already have other outlets that they can just do, and because some people like them. They have their own websites. They have their own stuff going on. They might make it on something else because they already have a following. People want to hear them. They have a group of people who like them, which is great. Nobody else has that. Nobody watching Don Lemon. No one's doing that. No one's like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what he has to say on stuff. No one's doing that. Nobody is. So maybe, I don't know, his friends and family, maybe. It's about it. No one's doing that, right? No one cares about what Brian Stetzer, that's his name? That guy, whatever. No one cares about what he says. Poppy Harlow. Is that the right name, CNN? I forgot. Anyway, whatever. Nobody cares about them. I don't remember their names. Nobody cares. So they're not going to make any money at all. They're finished. If CNN goes under, they might as well just go, I don't know, buy a car wash and own a car wash or something, or buy a laundromat. I don't know. Run a franchise Chili's. Do that. They could probably do that. Probably poorly, but they have enough money they can just hire a manager to do it because they're completely incompetent. But they could at least hire a manager to run the Chili's. They could buy it and hire a manager. There we go. That's it. So yeah. Anyway. So you Rebecca says, though I did watch The Five just for Greg Gutfeld years ago. Oh yeah, he's got his own show now, Gutfeld. I should go on his show. You're right, Rebecca. I should go on the show. Yes. So Mike says liberal media has nothing to do without Trump in office. There's some truth to that, Mike. There is, which is why if you look at MSNBC as the most liberal media, I mean, CNN is also, but if you look at MSNBC, whenever they can do January 6th stuff, on it. Whenever they can bring Trump back, they are on it. Absolutely. CNN, all about Trump or COVID. On it. There's no tomorrow. But there's a difference. The reason why I'm so anti-CNN versus MSNBC is MSNBC is openly far left. They'll attack Democrats too if they aren't left enough. So MSNBC will always find the not left enough enemy. Always. CNN can't do that. Without Trump, they're in trouble. They need Trump or COVID or like a plane crash, or they're in trouble. So MSNBC will be fine in theory because they can just find someone who's far left enough and beat them up, right? Whatever. They'll be fine with that. CNN's going to struggle. CNN needs Trump to win in 2022. I know. I'm sure that there are people at CNN going, Trump, please win. 2024, please come back. They're like hoping he wins in 2024 so they keep their station. They're hoping for that. Probably sabotaging people now to make sure that happens because otherwise you lose. I agree with you. Yes. Pete says, people trust Rogan not because he's always right, but because he's transparent. Oh my God, Pete, you are so correct. You are absolutely true. Absolutely telling the truth. Yes, 100%. People don't think he's the smartest or the savviest or whatever. They think he's the most curious, if that makes any sense, right? He's like, what's going on with that? What about this? What about this? He's that guy. And if he doesn't know, he goes, I don't know. He literally says, I don't know about this. Or he says stuff that's his personal experience. He says, here's my experience, and you can do whatever you want with that. I think that's most important. Yes. So he says, Tucker used to be entertaining even when I didn't agree with him. Now he's just like a little boy who has been sent to a corner of the classroom. That's funny. Tucker still is funny, I think, still, but I think his tone has changed. I think that's correct. His tone has changed. But he's still a talented, funny guy. Like, he still can say the funny stuff, right? He can still do that. But I do think recently he's been a bit meaner than he has been in the past. I think that he's put an edge to him last, I don't know, year or two. I don't know. But he's had an edge to him. I think that's true. Similar to Laura Ingraham. I don't watch Laura Ingraham, but I used to here and there. And she always seemed mad, like had that edge of anger to her. Always, I felt that from her. And I didn't like her that much. Hannity too. I feel like Hannity's always just hammering. I think Tucker wasn't that way, but he's got a bit of an edge now to him now. But I think he's better than the other two. And I think the numbers show that. He dominates the station, I think, because of that. I think that's true. So Joe says, met a couple from New York today, told them to vote for Larry Sharpe for governor. That was a smart move. Like that. Yes. So yes. All right. James says, the way I see it, there's only misinformation and propaganda. Best of luck finding the truth. You know, people ask me how I get my news. And how I get my news is I actually get people to send me stuff all the time. And I watch the mainstream media for these 2 hours every day. I know it's punishment, but someone has to. It's how I know these people's names. Excuse me. And then do my own research once they give me the topics. And I got to tell you, one of the things I heard from someone, the YouTuber or Twitch guy, Destiny, I was on his show twice, actually. I was on the show twice. Destiny once said something. He was on an interview. I forgot who he was with. He said, if you want to do your own homework in today's world, it really isn't that hard. And you can go to mainstream media if you want to. But his point was, which is a valid point, just read the entire article. Don't read just the headline. And read things from like AP, BBC. Just read the entire article. If you read the entire article, you'll often get enough info to know where to go next. If you read, and he's got a valid point. I do it often. Like if I read an article, I read all the way to the bottom, every part of it. And then go, okay, what made sense? What didn't? What do I not get? What do I get? And I'll then do homework on the pieces that I don't get. That's why often you hear me give some detailed information on things that you might think, how does Larry know this? Because when people send me something, hey, you know this thing happened? I go, this happened? Huh. I'll go to a mainstream. I'll watch CNN and or MSNBC. I hardly watch CNN anymore. Usually it's MSNBC and Fox. I'll watch both of them as left and right. I'll get what people are thinking, then find out some homework. It is hard finding the truth, James. You're not wrong. Not true. Okay. It can be challenging, is what I'll say, but it can be done. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Yes. All right. The Frankenstein Wrong Thinger says, Tucker is the only guy on the right that's anti-war. Yes. Look, it's true. When it comes to war, he's right. He's absolutely right. Yes, absolutely. Michael says, Larry, when's your book coming out? I have been delaying my book because I've been so damn busy, but my hope is I can get it out by April. That is my hope. I'm trying to get it out by April, no later than that. And my book is called On Happiness. It's almost completely done. I have a little bit more to get going, but yes, I hope to have it done by then, if at all possible. So yes. Missy says that you can support the Sharpe Way for free by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. She's correct. Please do that. Like, comment, share. It does matter. Please do it. And if you can, head over to libertarianism.com. There are sponsors. Go there, share that link with your friends and family. Let them go see what libertarianism is about. It's about happiness. It's about caring. It is not about freedom. It kind of is, but it's really about happiness and that kind of stuff. Libertarianism.com shows you that. And there's cool merch. If you like merch, it's cool merch there too. So go there, share it, and watch some videos, take some tests. They're pretty simple tests, but they're interesting. And you then gain points where you can buy cool merch. So nothing but cool stuff. You should go there, please. Share it, go there, sign in, take some classes. It does matter. They support the show. It's free, no charge, unless you want to buy merch. You don't have to buy merch there. You can take classes, you get it for free. Or if you don't want to take classes, just buy the merch. But up to you. You can do either one of them. So it does matter. Please do that. And of course, like, comment, share. It's the way I get around the horrible shadow banning that I've had forever. So yes, thank you for that, Missy. You are correct. That's exactly the right answer. So I do want to grab a couple of other things that I wanted to bring up here. Rogan, of course. Whoopi, of course. The truckers, which talked about that too. It is important. But I guess the thing I want to bring up is the idea of, in general, the censorship idea. It's kind of together, if that makes any sense. You're not seeing that much of the truckers, except how evil they are, which I guess they're evil now. You're not seeing that much of it, but you should be seeing more of it. Why should you be seeing more of it? Because if you don't hear the opposite, when it pops up, you think it's crazy. Does it make any sense? If you never hear about truckers protesting, then all of a sudden you hear about truckers protesting, it seems like they're nuts. But if you hear about it often, and now you hear it, you go, huh, what's going on? Let me think about that. Let me figure that out. I wanted to bring that up. There's a reason for hearing stuff you don't like, because you don't want to be shocked by it. It's crazy. And then people start going, oh, the truckers, they're all racist and Nazis, which is absolutely not true. You don't go, yeah, I bet they are. I've never heard of these guys are crazy. They're all racist and Nazis. You go, no, weren't they talking about this before? Wasn't it? You get to think about it. Now, does that mean you won't find racist and Nazi truckers? I'm sure there are some, just because odds. So I'm sure there are some. But then when you hear them, you go, oh, so there's the racist Nazi trucker. I found him. Or her, in theory, but probably him, right? I found him. There's the one. And you can, okay, that's the one guy. And you can avoid that one guy, but not punish all the rest of the truckers. And that's a problem. So anyway, thank you for that. Austin says, good to know. Glad to be part of the 4%. Oh, okay. I pulled one over. I love it. I got to pull more of it. For those of you talking about the polling, I want to discuss the polling for a second. It does matter tremendously. And what I mean by that is, if you've noticed, most of the time, third parties are never in polling. Ever. They're never in polling. It's only the top two. And there's a gap, and they don't even mention it. They don't mention the gap. It's like, oh, okay. So, R is winning 48 to the Democrats, 40. Well, there's 12 points in between those two. Where are those going? They say nothing. They just go, that's it. He's winning. That's all that matters. But here's the worst part. If you look at that poll that I put out, if you look at the poll, Zogby did a poll. For those who don't know, if you look at the any of my social media, it's there. You can just look for Zogby poll, New York 2022. It's all over. It's public knowledge. You can check it out. In that poll, most people want a third party. Most people want something different. So when I talk about, what did I talk about? Not me. I'm in the poll. They don't talk about me. So you look at a lot of these things, they don't mention me. I get one line. I'm like, I'm your guy. I'm the third party guy right here. You're telling me you want a third party. Here I am. You don't say anything. Now, I'm going to say something personal that bothers me personally. And some of you may get mad or feel like I'm being petty. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm being bitter. It's possible. But I'm going to tell you how I actually feel. The amount of people that I know personally who've met me, who know who I am, who know I ran for office, and I'm running for it now, right? Who know that this is happening. I'm trying to make things happen. I'm trying to run now even. Know that. Go on big shows all the time and never mention my name once. When they're talking about New York, when they're talking about politics, and you know what? I don't care if you say it negatively. Austin, you can go on a show and literally go, Larry Sharpe, hate that guy. What a jerk. Hope he loses. At least you're saying Larry Sharpe, someone will actually check me out. You could say that. Larry Sharpe, loser, hate him, never going to win, hate that guy. Fine. I would love if you said that. At least they would talk about me. At least if somebody would actually go and check my website out or check out my Facebook page. I would take it. But they say nothing. Not a word. It's constant. I'm like, I know that guy. Like, that guy knows me. We've had lunch. And you're on a show and they're talking about New York politics and you won't mention my name. You could just go, by the way, Larry Sharpe's running. You could say that. No, drives me crazy. And the problem is, I don't necessarily blame them. I mean, I want to because I'm angry, but no, I don't have to blame them. The reality is it's our culture. Our culture is you don't mention third-party guy because then he's crazy and now you're linked to being crazy too. So you don't mention third-party guy. So you say nothing and you just go, well, Democrats, Republicans suck, and you say nothing else. But imagine if all the people who knew who I was, when they go on the big shows, would just mention my name. Imagine how much better we do. Imagine how much better the country would be. They would just say my name. That's it. I don't care if it's bad. And the funny part is when I was running with Gary Johnson, I wasn't running with him, sorry. When I was supporting Gary Johnson when he was running, I did many media spots. And I would constantly mention other people's names all the time. I'm like, yeah, not just Gary Johnson, right? It's also Alex Merced who's running at 2016. Alex Merced's running, right? And Lily Tang Williams is running. I would mention people. You know, I still remember them. Richard Lyon's running, whatever. These guys are running. He's not just everybody. I'd mention people's names. He's doing this, he's doing that all the time. I still mention Ricky Harrington's running for governor of Arkansas. I still bring up their names. Nobody else does it. I'm trying to lead by example. It's not working, Austin. I'm failing at this. It's not working. I got to change something, do something else. So, yes. So anyway, Rebecca says, we need more than 4% or 1%. Her Majesty still at 50%. Yes. And we're working it, right? The biggest piece I have to pull from Rebecca is I have to get more Democrats to realize voting Democrat is not helping you, right? Voting Democrat is not helping. That's the issue. I've got to get more of that. And I've been bad at that. I got to be better at it. And I'm trying my best to do that. Yes. Sean says Don Lemon's a legit moron. I'm not prepared to go that far. So yes. Dustin says Lily Tang is awesome. Agreed. I adore her. She is amazing. Absolutely. She is amazing. Absolutely. Yes. Pete says, say my name. And then it is. I should have that as my, Pete, well done. Guys, I want to say that if you want to help out, like, comment, and share. It does matter. If you want to support the show, libertarians.com. If you want to support me running around the state, click that link, LarrySharpe.com/donate. Happy to, if you want to help out, I'd appreciate it tremendously. I'm going to have to run. I will be on here tomorrow, though. Sorry, I couldn't get Olivia on. I will get Olivia on tomorrow if I can. I'll see what I can do, see if I can get her back on. Anyway, I will see you guys all very soon.